What is going on at Liverpool Football Club? Some craziness has been happening in the last couple of hours. I say the last 24 hours been probably the most craziest news that's happened at Liverpool for the past 4 or 5 months. Is Arne Slot leaving? Who's going to be his replacement? Mo Salah speaking about the club. It just seems as though the circus seems to continue at Liverpool Football Club. But big up everyone. Hope everyone's doing well at this moment in time. I appreciate everyone that watches the video. When it does go out, hopefully it will go out later tonight. So the 17th of May will be out. So I appreciate single one of you watching the video. If you haven't already liked the video, subscribe if you're new. On the road to 2,000 subscribers. But without further ado, let's get into the show. Where do we start? Where do we start? I mean, we can start off with the fact that we lost 4-2 to Aston Villa, a disgraceful performance. If you haven't watched the review for that game, do check it out. A little bit more in-depth about analysis about the game. But I think first things we got to do is talk about this man, Mo Salah. Mo Salah. It was at some point we thought, Mo is going to say something. Something's going to happen. He won't go out the way we are going out. And lo and behold, Mo has decided to really speak out about what he sees is a massive problem at the football club. And I feel as though most of what Salah is saying is very factual. Obviously, we'll go into. I'll read out what the side guy's saying. If you can read it, do read it as well. I've witnessed this club go from doubters to believers, and from believers to champions. It took hard work, and I always did everything I could to help the club get there. Nothing makes me prouder than that. Us crumbling to yet another defeat this season was very painful, and not what our fans deserve. I want to see Liverpool go back to being the heavy metal attacking team that opponents fear, and back to being a team that wins trophies. That is the football I know how to play, and that is the identity that needs to be recovered and kept for good. It cannot be negotiable, and everyone that joins the club should adapt to it. Winning some games here and there is not what Liverpool should be about. All teams win games. Liverpool will always be a club that makes a great deal to me and to my family. I want to see it succeed for a long time after I've moved on. As I've said, qualifying for next season's Champions League is the bare minimum, and I will do everything I can to make that happen. Some strong words from Mo. Very, very strong words. A lot to unpack there. A lot to unpack for sure. First of all, we got to talk about is one of the most damning thing he mentions, which is the quote unquote heavy metal football that Liverpool was so synonymous of being under Jurgen Klopp. If everyone talks about the great days of Liverpool Football Club, heavy metal football, Jurgen Klopp, full throttle, very passionate, very emotional style of football, that is what is synonymous of Liverpool Football Club. That's what we've known to be the best way of winning trophies and the best way in winning football matches in general. And it's damning that a player like Mo Salah has decided to use those specific words, because there's been a lot of conversation, a lot of discourse around the Liverpool fan base about the style of play that we're playing, knowing that we're no longer playing the full throttle football that we saw under Klopp, the remnants that we saw of it at the start of last season, where we had that really good run, winning a majority of our games, only losing one game during that period, which was against Nottingham Forest, which looked as though it was a freak result in that situation. But the main thing that I want to speak is he has no need to say all this stuff. A lot of people being like, oh, he's throwing out his toys out the pram, he's throwing people under the bus, he's doing whatever. For me, I've always been the kind of person that, no, you shouldn't really speak out about the football club. It's things that you shouldn't do, things that you shouldn't say. But this is where I'm like, Mo Salah is speaking for the majority of the Liverpool fan base. Mo Salah's not only speaking, I can honestly say this because this is my opinions as well. He is speaking for myself. Everything that Mo Salah said on that page, on that little post that he made on Instagram, on Twitter, and everywhere, he is speaking for myself. And I'm going to get that. I'm going to get it up again because it holds a lot of weight. Holds a lot of weight. He is speaking for many, many Liverpool fans across the world. And those words that he used, the fact that he never mentioned the boss, he never mentioned the board, he never mentioned any names like Richard Hughes, Michael Edwards, never mentioned any of the new players like Florian, any of the existing players already, or the player hierarchy. Never mentioned any one of those. He's just talking about what he sees in general with Liverpool Football Club. And everyone can agree that there's been a change, a shift. Liverpool don't press like they used to anymore. Liverpool's so slow, they're lethargic, they're no longer direct, they no longer play that full throttle, fast-flowing football that they used to do. It's all very possession-based, very slow, very lethargic, very calculating, very unlike Liverpool. Unlike Liverpool. And it had to take someone like Mo Salah to say this. And I think what else is very damning about this is this as well. This is the likes, the individual likes. Obviously, this is not the full data I have, unfortunately, but this is the likes that were given, I think, in the first hour when it was, in the first 20 minutes when it was posted. And look at the names that are on there. You got Jeremy Frimpong, Curtis Jones, who we'll also speak about later because he's also involved in some of this. Dominic Szoboszlai, who many people around the club seem to believe that he will be one of the main hierarchy people within the Liverpool player base. He will be one of the main leaders for the new guard. Milos Kerkez, Andy Robertson, who's also leaving this summer along with Mo Salah. Harvey Elliott, a player that's not even linked to Liverpool, has liked it. Wataru Endo and Giovanni Leone. And I can also confirm it's not only those people that they're like the post. I believe Jordan Henderson has liked it, and I also believe that people like Florian Wirtz and Alexander Isak have also liked the post as well. For a post like that, and people will be like, it's just an Instagram post. They always do that to support their plays and everything. Everyone just likes whatever. For a post like that, for a post that has all those damning statements about the standards of the football club, I think it speaks volumes. I think it speaks major, major volumes. And it really presses home on the point that Liverpool really need to look at themselves and understand what is their future. What is the future of Liverpool Football Club? Like, is it playing this style of football? Is it going back to what we know best, which was Jurgen Klopp's style of football? What is it? And I think a lot of Liverpool fans have come to the realization that it is a massive mess. We are in a massive mess. Players speaking out, future's not really handled. There's rumors about Richard Hughes moving to Al Ahly or Al Hilal, or one of those teams in Saudi Arabia. There's so much uncertainty regarding Liverpool. And when you hear me go on places like the Football Terrace, like on Coppish, like on Judge Mo's channel, and I speak to rivals about this, I always go on the statement that we just don't know what's going to happen with Liverpool. Liverpool at this moment in time is in the unknown. We can't predict what they're going to do. We don't know if Arne Slot's going to be manager because things have taken a massive turn westwards with what's happened. We don't know if some of these players are going to be staying here. If there's any more players leaving, apparently Alisson may be leaving as well, which God help us if he does. New players coming in. We don't even know what type of players we're looking for. There's a lot of uncertainty around Liverpool. And I think it's really starting to press home right now. And one thing I want to do, I really want to do this because I think it's worth pointing it out, because I think this Steven Gerrard says this perfectly. He says this perfectly, in my opinion. I'm going to play it out here for you guys. I'm going to quickly open this up for you guys here. Where is it? Here we are. That is not it. There we are. I think he says it perfectly in this video. Says it absolutely perfectly from start.
Mo Salah doesn't really speak much, and he doesn't tweet, and he certainly doesn't tweet like that. So I think he's sending a message to the outside that things in that Liverpool dressing room are not right.
Major statement right there from Stevie. Big word, big statement, big statement. Things don't seem right in the Liverpool changing room. Things don't seem right within the Liverpool space. Things don't seem what it is meant to be. And Mo Salah, who rarely speaks out, I think many people have come to the conclusion he doesn't like to speak out that much, only when he has to, when he feels like he needs to. But when he does, it does speak volumes. But I'll let Stevie continue with what he's saying.
The identity's gone, and it's really hurting him to see it in front of his own eyes. I'm surprised the timing, with one game to go, his last game for Liverpool.
I don't know about that though, Stevie. I don't know if the timing is right. I don't know if the timing is surprising. I think it's surprising that something's happened. We didn't think anything will happen. I didn't think this statement will ever come out. But the question whether it's right or not, I think you have to look at it from his perspective. He has nothing to lose, like I said. He has absolutely nothing to lose with what he's going to say. He's already going. And the guy, I think the statement just shows how much he cares about Liverpool Football Club, how much the club means to him so dearly. Because he's not worried about what's happening right now. He's worried about what's happening when he leaves, after he's gone. What's going to happen afterwards? I think that's the massive thing that people need to realize as well. He's not talking about the now. He's talking about for life after, when he leaves. And maybe he's speaking for a couple of players within the squad. Because we also need to think about that. Not many of the squad like him. When I say like him, I mean I'm talking about the manager. Not many of the squad like Arne Slot. I think it's showing on the pitch, like they don't seem to fully be invested with his football. The one thing I've got to ask, and I think this really just popped into my head, could Mo Salah be speaking for the Liverpool dressing room? Someone like Mo Salah holds a lot of weight within the Liverpool fan base in terms of whatever he says, the Liverpool fan base will listen to him. And I think the Liverpool dressing room also believes that as well. Could it be that Mo Salah decided to say what he wanted to say as a message on behalf of the Liverpool dressing room? Could be. It could be.
You know, you guys know, you've been involved in the media. He very rarely speaks. He's done interviews lately because he's obviously bringing the curtain down on an incredible Liverpool career. But that is quite damning to the Liverpool manager and the staff in terms of where this team's at. That's my opinion on that. Mo Salah doesn't really speak much.
That's quite damning, he says. It's quite damning. It is 100% damning from what he said. And I think no one can speak about this better than Stevie can. And like he said, the message is not talking about what's happening within the club, but he's talking to the outside world. He's letting the outside world know that things aren't right within the football club. It's very alien to him. And it's weird to see it like this. And I think it's something that is really pushing home right now. And I think a lot of Liverpool fans have started to realize this a little bit. And I think one thing I want to mention as well, he's not the only one that's spoken about this as well. Curtis Jones has also spoken about this as well. Thank you for the continued support into the disappointing seeding. It's way off the standards expected at the football club. Again, the big word, standards. The standards that were set under Jurgen Klopp is no longer being seen for everybody else. I think it's a massive, massive thing. And the fact that all these players are constantly talking about standards, the likes of your Mo's, the likes of Curtis Jones as well, I think it speaks volumes about what's going on. And obviously with all this that's happening, naturally the aftermath will be very bloody. And a lot of news has come out about whether there's uncertainty around Arne Slot's place at Liverpool Football Club. And the one thing that Liverpool fans were crying out for, many were, not only myself, but other people were crying out for as well. This man. It has been confirmed by numerous sources and obviously confirmed by Chelsea Football Club that Xabi Alonso will be the Chelsea manager for next season. Can't believe it's happening. But I don't blame him for saying that he wants to move to Chelsea. There's been loads of reports about his agent being in contact with Liverpool, trying to be in contact with Liverpool. There's rumors from his agent that the Xabi Alonso is waiting for a proper conversation with the football club, which hasn't come about. And now, what happens if you keep on delegating, if you keep on just pushing the can across the road? At some point, you're going to miss out. You're going to miss the parade go by, and that's exactly what's happened. Obviously, as a result, many Liverpool fans would be devastated about this. Obviously, Xabi Alonso, borderline Liverpool legend, you could argue. Yeah, you could argue he's a Liverpool legend, moving over to Chelsea, where there's a little bit of a rivalry there. But you have to understand from his perspective that his stock is still relatively high at this moment. I think what's happened at Real Madrid, the aftermath, the circus surrounding it, the fact that they're not going to win another trophy for the second time, back-to-back time, second time in a row. The fact that already Tchouaméni and Federico Valverde have gone blow for blow, pause on that, a big pause on that. They decided to have a little bit of an MMA fight in the dressing room. I think it shows that is a circus. And Xabi Alonso was a little bit vindicated by it. I wouldn't say he's fully, but a little bit vindicated. So his stocks are still relatively high. And I don't think an opportunity like that will pass by. And I think Xabi Alonso would be an idiot for letting an opportunity pass him by like that. So I don't blame him. So naturally, as a result, Liverpool, if they are going to move on from Arne Slot, have to think about plan Bs. Option 2, what other options do we have? And naturally, other names keep popping up. Like this man, Julian Nagelsmann, the manager of Germany. It's a very questionable one about Julian Nagelsmann. I think everyone's very much happy with how he is as a manager. The style of football is not too dissimilar to Klopp, very similar to what we were about the whole heavy metal football. He does adopt that. He is part of the RB sort of academy, one of the students of Ralf Rangnick, whose philosophy is very similar to what Jurgen Klopp is, the gegenpress and everything like that. It seems as though he's a natural fit. However, there's one issue with Nagelsmann. One big issue. His current role at this moment. He's at arguably the biggest job for any German footballer / manager / sports person ever. He is captain of the national team in a World Cup. So it's going to be very difficult to ask him to leave Germany straight after a World Cup, depending on how far they could go. And remember, Germany are a dominant nation in its own right. Their expectations should be minimum quarterfinals. So they're going to go very far in this World Cup as well. And I do believe they will go far in this World Cup if the draw is kind to them. They will go very, very far. We're looking at a point where it's like the middle of July and we still haven't got a manager. And after the World Cup, he's gonna guarantee that he's gonna take a break. One of the most stressful situations in his entire career. He's definitely gonna take a break. So we're looking at a point where the manager of Liverpool Football Club, which could be Julian Nagelsmann, will only arrive in late July to early August. And we lose out on a whole pre-season by this point, because we've got about a week and a bit until the season starts again. Don't think it's wise to do it. And people saying that, well, we can lure any manager across the world. Who's to say that Julian Nagelsmann doesn't want to leave Germany? Who's to say that he's at the pinnacle of German football? He's the pinnacle of his career. Maybe he wants to see out his contract. There is also that possibility. We can't deny it. So, again, a lots of unknowns when it comes to Julian Nagelsmann. And I feel as though an appointment like that would hamper Liverpool quite badly for the upcoming season. I think so. That's my opinion on that front. But as a manager, quality manager, very good manager, but just don't see it feasible happening at this moment in time. But one thing was very interesting, though. And I saw this tweet by Indicalia. Now, I know everyone's going to be like, it's Indicalia. How can you use that as a barometer for a source? Well, everyone was using it last summer when it came to Liverpool transfer. So if you don't like it, sue me. I don't care. But this came up. Mike Gordon, who is the FSG president, who was the primary bridge between the owners and Jurgen Klopp during Klopp's highly successful tenure, his main choice is to bring him back. Bring back Jurgen and try and get things going in the right direction. Now, I know a lot of people will be very happy about it. There, obviously, you can see there is Jurgen right there, currently with RB as like head of sporting relations or something like that, head of sport or something like that. I don't know what it is, but he's part of Red Bull. He's part of the hierarchy of Red Bull. Like he's overseeing a lot of the stuff. Jurgen Klopp coming back would be every Liverpool fan's dream. Having the guy that got us to our success coming back and sorting everything out again. But there's an issue with this. There's a massive issue with this. How does it work for the long term? Because short term, I think it'll be great. Short term, I think it will work in our favor where we get the players, but have that feel-good factor back at the football club, get things rolling again, and hopefully we could go and challenge for the major trophies again for next season. We go again, as people like to say. But the long term is the issue. Jurgen Klopp wouldn't want to stay at Liverpool for 2-3 seasons. I don't even think he would like to stay for 2 seasons. I think he'd like to stay for 1 season and then leave. That's ideally what he wants to do. How does that benefit Liverpool going forward? Because maybe next season it'll be great. Everything will feel great. We'll be back to challenging, hypothetically. Things will be back in the right direction. But beyond that, what's the plan? What's the plan beyond that? Now, I know I'm saying that, I don't really want Klopp to come back. And look, if you probably met me in person and said, look, Ram, if you want, Jurgen Klopp comes back at Liverpool for next season and things go back to what it was, I'll be like, please just do that, because I think we're losing our identity. But the rational part of me is like, what's going to happen after Jurgen leaves? Is it going to get better in the long term? And that's my main worry about this. I know it's Jurgen, but I just don't think it'll be beneficial for us. Because sometimes you got to look what's happening 2 steps beyond you. You have to look beyond the road ahead. Sometimes you got to plan beyond that. And the whole point of us getting Jurgen Klopp back in 2016 was for the road ahead beyond that season. It was looking 2 to 3 seasons beyond that, how things will go after that. And I just don't think at this moment in time, I don't even think Jurgen would want to come back as well. Whilst I'd love it, is it the right move? I'm not too sure about it. But lastly, there was one other name that came up. And a lot of people have been on the train for this guy quite recently, ever since his name was brought up. I've spoken about him quite highly as a manager. One of those best and up-and-coming young managers coming out from Germany. Sebastian Hoeneß, the manager of Stuttgart. Now, if anyone knows, if anyone has been watching Koppischen and watching Monts, the running joke from all of us is that I'm a secret Stuttgart fan and I don't really support Liverpool. So, by that logic, I am probably the best person to ask when it comes to this manager. And for me, as a manager, going off what he's done so far with Stuttgart, he can go right to the very top. He could go right to the very top. If we're talking about the top managers in world football, he can go right to the very top. He could be right up there with the likes of Mikel Arteta in terms of young managers that are in the world at this moment. Who else have you got? You got Enzo Maresca, who's a shout. He will be right up there, 100%. The way he gets his teams to play and the ideals that he expresses and how he wants his team to see football is what Liverpool were trying to implement for quite a while. And I've been hearing loads of people talk about Cesc Fabregas, Iraola, and people like that. I just want to let people know, out of all of those managers, you talk about the young man, you talk about Carrick, you talk about Iraola, you talk about Fabregas. If you look at their careers, he has surpassed all of them. Every single one of them he has surpassed. I think it's proven right here. We need to also remember he's not managing a creme de la creme football club in Germany. They're a very respected football club, but they're not the creme de la creme. They're very respected with the fact that they produce a lot of fantastic young footballers. I think Kimmich is from there. Philipp Lahm was from there. Rudiger was from there. Like, they produced a load of great young footballers. Obviously, Angelo Stiller, that everyone's talking about, he's from Stuttgart as well. He's from the academy. The guy has achieved back-to-back Champions League football for a team when he first took over was fighting relegation. By the way, the first season he had, his first full season, he lost his captain. I think everyone knows who the captain was. It was Wataru Endo. And he ended up getting second place. The season that Xabi Alonso had, he finished second with a Stuttgart team who was nowhere near the level. They literally exceeded expectations beyond what everyone thought. I don't even think Stuttgart fans would ever think that their team would ever be in Champions League football, let alone finish second in the league above Bayern Munich as well. And the one thing that we need to measure when it comes to a manager being good is consistency. We always say Mikel Arteta is a good manager because he's consistent. Whether the great manager is a different conversation, whether he could be up there with Hansi Flick. You talk about Luis Enrique, consistency on a regular basis, always consistently challenging. Look at his PSG team, consistently challenging on all fronts. You look at Hansi Flick, every team he goes to, consistently challenging on all fronts, especially with the budget that he's been given at Barcelona. This guy has been consistently exceeding expectations every single season. Bearing in mind, look, fair enough. They achieved. I think I said back to back Champions League football. I don't think they got back to back. I think they got second, then dropped down to I think ninth, I believe. But then they won the DFB Pokal and qualified for Europa League. I think people need to realize that when you talk about all these managers, you need to link all of their achievements or what they've done within their careers together. And people will say, Iraola, I don't understand why people don't want to go for Iraola. He's proven in the Premier League. You see the Prem proven stuff? Prem proven's for footballers alone, but when it comes to managing in the Premier League, if you want to be a top manager, you need to explain what your team wants to do, the ideals that you want your team to play, the type of football that you express, and convey it well and get the best out of some of these players. Regardless, it's not about adaptation period and everything. If you look at Iraola, and for me, this is my opinion on this. If I'm looking at Iraola, I'm looking at Michael Carrick, for example, because obviously he's United manager, even to an extent Enzo Maresca as well. I don't see no difference between them and him. Now, the one issue that I do have, and you have to talk about it because for Iraola it doesn't apply because he's at Bournemouth, but for Enzo and for Michael Carrick, they're managing at big clubs, or well, Enzo was at a big club before he left the football club. Michael Carrick is currently at Man United. This is Stuttgart. And like I said previously, Stuttgart are a well-respected team, but they're not thought of as one of the best. There's always the little bit of an underdog mentality. And you're not going to get that at Liverpool. The expectation for this guy to come in is you've got a challenge. We've got a great team. We've got players that he already knows relatively. He got players that he's played against, the likes of Frimpong, the likes of Wirtz. He's already got players that is good enough to challenge on all fronts. So the pressure on this guy is going to be immense. If you're looking at styles of football, and we're talking about this man right here, Jurgen, and wanting managers to play that kind of football, these two play it to a T. I think the one thing that, for me, in terms of an actual managerial analysis, I think Sebastian Hoeneß is a little bit more flexible with his organization and his structure compared to Julian Nagelsmann. But the one thing I wanna press home on when it comes to Sebastian Hoeneß is, I think people need to understand what the guy's done. He's not a trash manager. He's a very, very good manager. And people say, we can't be doing the potential thing. I'm sorry, Hansi Flick is not available. I'm sorry, Luis Enrique is not available. People may say, well, he hasn't signed the contract yet. We'll cross that bridge when we get there. At this moment in time, it looks like he's going to sign the new contract with PSG. So Luis Enrique is not available. Hansi Flick, he was my main choice back in 2024 when Klopp announced he was going to leave. Plays similar style of football, everything and all that. But he's João Laporta, who's already won the presidency. He said he's not leaving. He's going to stay there until the end of his career. So what do? You've got to settle for people that play that similar style of football and hope that they can achieve it. Can Nagelsmann do it? 100%. Can Sebastian Hoeneß do it? 100%. Why? Because they play a similar brand of football that we want. And I think when people mention names like Iraola and they just immediately push Sebastian Hoeneß to the side, I really do question, if you actually do understand what the manager's done. Because Bournemouth, prior to Iraola, I want to actually check. I want to actually have a look because I want to make sure that I get my facts right with this. Bournemouth, I think he took over in 2024, if I'm not mistaken. 23. Oh no, he's back in 2022. He must have taken over. 2022. Yes. 2022, 2023, 24. There we go. 23, 24. He took over in 23, 24. Got them finished. So they finished 15th when he took over. Got them finishing 12th. Then got them finishing 9th. Then got them finishing 6th. So in a longer period, you could argue in a harder league, he's got them to more or less European football. Sebastian Hoeneß, with arguably a team that is of the similar ilk, I would say is a little bit worse than Bournemouth when he took over, with a team that's that was never touted to be one of the top teams, but he's constantly got them challenging for Champions League football, European football at bare minimum. The only time they didn't is when they won a trophy. That's the one thing that separates both Iraola's time at Bournemouth and Hoeneß's time at Stuttgart. He won Stuttgart a trophy. And he's also, if we're talking back-to-back, he's gone to back-to-back finals in the Pokal. They're playing, I believe, next week against Bayern in the DFB Pokal final. So if anyone wants to go and watch Hoeneß's football, perfect opportunity, watch the Pokal final. It'll be a great watch. And it'll be a good understanding what he wants as a football club. Had a pretty poor record against Bayern Munich. I mean, Bayern Munich do usually lay the smack down on Stuttgart. But hopefully, he'll be able to find a way to get the best out of these players and get a win. But I just want to make sure that when we are linked with Hoeneß, I don't want people to start crashing out and then mentioning names like Iraola. Because for me, I think they're the same, if not Hoeneß is better. If anything, Hoeneß has played European football. Iraola hasn't. Hoeneß has experience of playing 3 games a week. Iraola doesn't. So it's just one of those things. But I appreciate everyone that's watching this video. I will be doing a more in-depth analysis with some guests over. Hopefully people like Dean, Tom Little, Callum, if they're available, I'll get them on. I'll get more people like Jamie and Drifty as well. I'll be asking a load of people. We'll be doing a panel show about this, talking about this, but I really just want to get my thoughts out on this. I think I also want just to get my thoughts out on Sebastian Hoeneß as well. But people, make sure you hit the like button. Get this liked as much as possible. If I was going to be a little bit greedy, 50 likes, please. 50 likes, nothing major. Get it done. And if you haven't already, subscribe to the channel and make sure you leave your comments down below. I'm always interested in hearing your views. I want to hear your opinions on this. Do you think I'm just giving too much credit to Hoeneß? Am I being a little bit of a Hoeneß lover, as people like to call it? Am I being too lenient because it's Stuttgart and he's from the Bundesliga? I don't know. I want to hear your thoughts, boys. I want to hear your thoughts. But I appreciate every single one of you watching this. And yes, people, things are going to change at Liverpool. And it's going to be interesting. But we'll have to wait and see. We'll have to wait and see.